Hey everyone, here is our 2013 STI that my wife and I have for sale. The car is originally in the plasma blue pearl color. It features the limited cold weather and technology package, all offered by Subaru at the time. So it's fully loaded. We're going to do a quick run through of everything today as far as exterior, interior, performance modifications, and the cons of this vehicle. It is currently for sale right now, just under 81,000 miles. Exactly how it sits. So let's go ahead and do a walkthrough on the exterior. Naturally, as I mentioned, under this green wrap, this is Hexis Colorshift or Wasabi Green. It is the limited plasma blue pearl color. It features the 18-inch BBS forged gunmetal wheels, which is super cool. They're large. Right here, I have a custom APR carbon splitter. You can bring the camera down here. So here's the APR carbon splitter. This features a Hexis Bodyfence wrap. So it actually is a clear PPF coating that won't allow this to like basically swirl, crack, or get discolored from the elements. Then coming over here, it's a little bit easier to see in the shade. We have generic Rockbox mud flaps. I got them at the time because they were the stiffest. Then we have right here featuring our Squad Manufacturing by Drift Factory custom ground effects kit. It starts here. Coming back to the rear, we start to see the flares off of the rear set into the diffuser back here. The car has 25% ceramic tint on the rear windows. And then it features 50% legal standard tint on the driver's windows. And then my favorite thing about this is it also, you can bring it right over here, it also features 70% carbon ceramic on the front glass to keep the UV rays from the dash and also keep the interior a little bit cooler in the summer. This windshield is impossible to see, but it has a new version type of heater element built under the windshield wipers. The old Subaru windshields have these like little heater elements sticking above the wipers, and they actually tend to wear out over time. This has the new generation heater elements that are actually built into the lower part of the glass. It won't really be picked up on video, but if you see it in person, they are in there, they're awesome, and they heat the entire bottom versus just a patch where the window wipers usually go. We have a roof rack obviously here, the Subaru regular aluminum rack. The roof rack is just a standard generic rack. I'm not sure exactly where we picked that one up from. And then we do have the Wells rain guard visors. Those were the best fitting I could find at the time for this. So let's go ahead and start with the interior part of the car. So obviously with the limited package, we have the black suede inserts on the entire seats for the front and the rear, of course. I have the trim custom wrapped in KPMF purple haze. Honestly felt like it kind of brought a little bit of the plasma blue pearl back into the car, which you can see here. And then we're gonna swap over to, actually let's check out the rear seat. Here's the rear seat. And these seats of course do fold entirely flat. So the cargo space actually is absolutely incredible. Let's go over to the hatch part here. So there's plenty of room. And then come up to the front here. So probably two of my favorite things about this car is right here, which is kind of hard to see, is a custom 3D printed access port mount. Most people usually run like a window suction cup, and it always falls with temperature change. This is a true functional defrost vent 3D printed access port mount. I waited like 6 months for that to get finished when they were being built at the time, and I actually do not see them being made anymore at all. And then we have, as professionally clean as we could get it to look, AEM air fuel ratio here with the methanol injection light built right into here, right above the cluster. So all that stuff's kind of hard to see, but there's the light switch and then the methanol gauge, of course. This does include the technology package, which has the navigation, of course, the heated seats, and it is touchscreen. So let's go ahead and take a look into the performance part of this car, actually. So this is where all the money was spent. At right around 70,000 miles, we brought it in for like routine maintenance, and the shop had found that the cylinder 4 was low on compression. So we took that time to basically do an entire sweep of the powertrain and basically rebuild everything. So what we have is an IAG Stage 2 tough block. That's obviously like forged connecting rods, cylinder heads, rings. It's got ARP head studs, ACL main race bearings. We have all the preventative maintenance type of stuff like the IAG race AOS. It dumps right out the rear. AEM cold air intake. This is a custom window washer fluid reservoir setup that sprays on top of the intercooler. Not particularly necessary, but it was basically being done at the time. The methanol is actually injected right in there through the top of the top mount intercooler. It runs on a window switch where basically when it starts to see a certain percentage of MAF voltage, it will kick in the spray and it'll increase the PSI of the spray as boost goes up. So I think it usually starts right around 4 PSI and then finishes to whichever you're at. The car does have 3 settings on boost. It's got a regular map, it's got a sport map, and then sport sharp. Regular is 16 PSI, sport is 21 PSI, and then sport sharp is 27 PSI. Really cool. The methanol injection is actually filled up right here in the factory window washer fluid reservoir. I'm not sure if you guys know, but window washer fluid is actually usually made out of methanol and water. So this works as a perfect combination. Fill it up methanol here, and yes, you can use that to spray your windows. It's just a little bit more expensive. For the most part, everything was redone at the time. We had a ACT AC97, I think that's the stage, I think they call it 6 clutch or whatever. It's extremely heavy. We put that in. Grimspeed 3-port boost controller, custom actual air intake sensor, which is run right here. That maps appropriately with the methanol setup, so it's not run off of intake air temperatures from here. It is the actual air intake sensor. Everything is new essentially on the motor. You have a new water pump, new belts, seals, gaskets, everything. So obviously when the motor is rebuilt, everything is new. Titanium springs and retainers in the heads. Actually at the same time we did an entire fluid overhaul, so we did transmission, diff, brakes, and power steering. Hard to see from here, but if you want to bring it around, we do have brand new StopTech rotors and pads on all 4 wheels. They get incredibly dusty, which is really unfortunate. Mishimoto radiator, I've heard these are decent upgrade, but nothing really to write home about. Go Fast Bits 50/50 TMS blow off valve. It's cool. It's mainly running recirculation right now. It was just to replace the factory. Most important, I can't believe I forgot, Force Performance FP Green. It is the UHF and HTA, so super aggressive, well-built journal bearing. I know it's impossible to see from right there. It mates to the CNT cast downpipe, and then we have a lava blanket heat shield on, lava blanket turbo blanket, and then the factory OEM heat shield here. The car is TGV deleted and catless, so it is super freaking loud. It sounds incredible. That sound clip that we actually are going to be posting is going to be either attached at the end of this video or in the high quality, high def video that we'll have a separate link for. To kind of go over the cons of this vehicle, there's definitely quite a few things that we should touch on. So first is the car does have several dents from hail damage. It's almost impossible to pick up in video and images, so that's why we're making this video. But there is dents on the hood, there is dents on the roof, and there are dents on some of these side door panels here. The wrap does a really good job covering it up, so it makes it very difficult to see, but there are dents, you know, in this vehicle that are present. That is definitely something to keep in mind. I wonder if you can show like a scale of the top, show a couple of the big ones here. You can barely see them, but they are present. No rust was found on them when we wrapped the car at the time. We did wrap over, obviously, the plasma blue pearl color. Right here is one of the only larger dents that is visible, is right where the printed STI badge is. Hard to see from right here, but there is a dent here. There's also a dent on this part of the rear hatch. I think there's one here as well on the spoiler, and then 2 on these side door panels as well. So there's definitely something to keep in mind. The car has, you know, extensive amounts of, you know, money in terms of the performance, but it does have some dings and dents on this vehicle, which is why we priced it the way we have. One thing that I personally do not like is this fender liner. These wheels are huge, and even in factory form, we're rubbing against the fender liner. So right now it's currently tapered off and tied in, and this little clip right here does not meet the regular fender liner. Super frustrating. It's been like that for at least 2 years, so it has not, you know, become any worse, but I do not like that. Same thing on the other side for the fender liner. This side is substantially cleaner. It's been like this for as long as I know, but you know, the fender liner is, you know, not as clean as it should be. I would definitely rate another con for this vehicle, how heavy the clutch is. The clutch is, I mean, we expected at some point in time we might track this car or race it. So we put one of the most aggressive stock non-twin disc clutches we could in it. And it's extremely heavy, so it definitely takes some getting used to. Other than that, you know, mod specs, everything are all going to be listed in the description or in a separate part of this video with, you know, very clean write-up.